It's fun and love with all. Mix motivation with your friends to the anthem of the party. You learn it all you need in life. It's fun and love with all. We'll have good times, our favorite smiles. We'll rock the night. We'll rock the night.
We'll have good times, our favorite smiles. We'll rock the night. We'll rock the night. We'll have good times, our favorite smiles. We'll rock the night. We'll rock the night.
Jaja see them a come, but I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come, but I a conqueror. They are coming to accuse I for things I know not about. They are coming to lock I down and tell I that them suspicious. Yeah, Jaja see them a come. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come. Hey. But I a conqueror. Yeah. Oh, not thy peace. Oh, Jah of my salvation. For the mouth of the wicked and the deceitful is up and I. Hey. Jaja see them a come. Watch this. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come. But I a conqueror. My good friend William Gardner and Paul Ogle was there. Messiah Gavin, and they gave him away. If you are 1 pound of rice, big deal of red peas, 1 trade nut and a piece of raw meat. Jaja see them a come. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come. Hey. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come. Yeah. But I a conqueror. We're freedom scribes and Pharisees who sit in Moses' seat, who are partial in the words of Jah, but their words are not complete. So look, Jaja see them a come. Hey. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come with a whip. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come with a button. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come with a gun. But I a conqueror. I'm not afraid. For the terror by night, not for the pestilence that waiteth not noonday to capture the children, to take them away. Jaja see them a come. But I a conqueror. Jaja see them a come. Hey. But I a conqueror. I'm not afraid. I've got to tell you, I've got to tell you again, you can understand, yeah. But I a conqueror.
Well, here comes a musical song called Mass Me Mass. Some man say if you fast, if you want to come in my class, so you got to come and take from top to the start, yeah? Mass me mass, eh? Mass me mass, eh? Mass me mass in a me granny test. Class me watch the wicked them a pass. Saints and sinners, say not the dread, just a laugh. Ain't come on until you're not the dread, just a laugh. To a rasta, eh? Say not the cast in the river of Jordan. Going to Mount Zion. land, my God, Africa land. Look at that, Rasta. You don't need no glasses to see the trial and crosses. I say you don't need no glasses to see the trial and crosses. You know, come you say can't take this operation. Till you say me can't take the prostration. Come you see lot of tribulation and me never do no wrong. Lot of tribulation does a fight I down. Mass me mass, mass me mass, mass me mass in a me granny test class. Mass me mass, mass me mass, mass me mass in a me granny test class. Me watch the wicked does a pass, not the dread just a laugh. The wicked does a pass, not the dread just a laugh. You don't need no glasses to see the trial and crosses. They say you don't need no glasses to see the trial and crosses. Rasta, say not the cars in the river of Jordan, man. Going to Mount Zion, Africa land, my God, Africa land. Look at that. We say we can't take this operation no more. Until you say we can't take attention no more. Until you say we can't take the pressure no more. Come we see lot of tribulation and we never do no wrong. Lot of tribulation and we never do no wrong. Come make we chant Revelation song. Man, come make we chant Revelation song. Until you say we must have to reach Mount Zion. We say we must have to reach Mount Zion. Two road before you. Until you see the two road before you. And say if you pick your choice, black man. Until you say if you pick your choice, black man. Okay? One to Zion, one to Babylon. One to Zion, one to Babylon. Mass me mass, mass me mass, mass me mass in a me granny test class, mass me mass, mass me mass, mass me mass in a me granny test class. You don't need no glasses to see the trial and crosses. They say you don't need no glasses to see the trial and crosses. You know, me say we can't take frustration no more. Me say we can't take contention no more. Me say we can't take brutality no more. Me say we want to go to Zion. Until you say we want to leave at Babylon. Until you say we want to go to Zion.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman Mike.
This is where the real freaks hang out, alright, yeah.
Can you dig it? It is another night of Monster Castle Paranormal. We put the drawbridge down. Come on into the castle. All right. Can you dig it? It's fantastic. How's it going, guys? We got a full castle tonight.
Awesome.
That's Jeff the Great.
Awesome.
All right. Adam Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
And Darren of the many question.
I'm here.
Darren the Inquisitor.
Yes.
We also have the Oracle with us, ladies and gentlemen. The Oracle is back by popular demand, of course. Are you there, Autumn? She's going to be in and out because she has kids with her. But yeah, she'll be chiming in and out. And I guess we're going to start with, I think we got some news coming up here. Monster Castle News with Adam Shadow.
Oh, yeah. There were multiple sightings of a ghost plane reported over Derbyshire, England. Multiple sightings of an alleged ghost plane have been reported in Derbyshire, England recently. A number of curious residents spotted an old World War II aircraft, a Douglas Dakota, flying very low before seemingly disappearing. Some witnesses have described it as not quite right. Its engine's perfectly silent as the plane glides through the air as if it were about to crash. Apparently, this area is sometimes called Derbyshire's Bermuda Triangle. According to an old BBC News article from 2002, they also refer to it as Dark Peak. It's the location the location of over 50 plane crashes, including a Douglas Dakota in 1949, and a total of over 130 deaths. The landscape, they wrote, is still peppered with the remains of wrecks. Many of those crashed are still unexplained. Now there are multiple reports of apparitions, and it's a strange place. But potential explanations include ordinary, albeit quiet, aircraft. The Derbyshire Times raised the possibility of gliders, but the eyewitness reports to tell a somewhat stranger tale. We can only speculate. Speaking of the RAF, perhaps what we have here is not a ghost plane, but rather a disturbance in time and space. Sir Victor Goddard was all too familiar with such phenomena when, according to legend, his plane temporarily traveled into the future back in 1935. On the other hand, these could be residual hauntings, ghostly echoes of a plane crash that happened long ago. And that is the news.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Adam Shadow, everyone. Adam Shadow. All right. What was that? Was that,
Fascinating.
we have a alien with us.
Spock.
I believe we do have an alien with us.
That was Spock.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, eh? It wasn't me.
Live long and prosper.
I love it.
Wolfman, I added an older news story, but I love it, so I wanted to put it up on Twitter. Last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago, was the 700 million year old coffin that I talked about in Russia.
I seen that picture you put up. That's really cool. I looked at that before. It looks like
I love it.
A microchip. It's on hashtag 47Talk if you guys want to look at the picture that Darren posted. It's really cool.
250 million year old rock, and it was in the rock when they chipped it off, and they noticed it, and they just go, "This is not natural," and it's not. 250 million years old is what they. It's hard to age rock, but I mean, it was definitely in there. I believe it. Looks like it turns the corner there, and it's part of the rock. So, it says some researchers believe the dating of the artifact is not entirely accurate, but it's still ancient no matter what it is because it was part of the rock. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I put that up there for my little news piece.
That's awesome. I love my new computer chair, and I love my new studio, and my internet speed is the highest possible to get in Canada.
You're screaming, man.
That's
awesome.
Everybody sounds great.
Yeah, it's because we got the highest bandwidth that I could possibly get.
No, I don't care.
Art, he's so jealous.
Yeah.
I have a new microphone, so hopefully I'm sounding better.
Oh, everybody's got new toys tonight. Wow.
Yes, turn your device off, please.
I love that one. I got one. I got one for somebody.
Coming up in a moment is Jeff the Gray.
Wow. Hey, Wolfman, did you hear what he said about you?
No, I didn't. But I think he once called me a...
in the rituals of exorcism and is an eyewitness to the reality of the demonic, investigating cases of demonic possession and assisting in the exorcisms of humanity's most ancient and most dangerous foes. He will discuss his investigations into an inhuman evil that has never been explained, solved, or even understood.
Wow.
That's cool, man. I dig that. Hey, the chat room, Darren, they say you sound like a hippie. Hey, I'm a hippie. All right. We like hippies around here. Come on into the castle. Dig it, man. We'll play some psychedelic rock and roll. You can dance around with long hair, and sometimes the hair isn't even on your head.
Well, I hope that's good. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is Jeff the Gray, co-host of Monster Castle Paranormal Radio on the KTLK Digital Broadcasting Network, thefringe.fm.
Wow, Jeff, you're all over the place today, man.
That wasn't me.
Really? It wasn't me.
That was an echo in time.
Wasn't me.
Oh, the Oracle. All
There's
right.
the Oracle.
Yeah, I think we should introduce the guest right now.
All right, let's hear him.
All right, we're gonna have to say, Tom Seward, you are the next guest on Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. Come on down. Are you there, Tom?
Yes, I am.
Right
Welcome,
on.
guys. Nice to be on your guys' show.
Yeah, I'm really happy
Welcome.
to have you here, man. And
Talk about Indian time, how you phoned me this afternoon and invited me on, and here I am. So, way to go. It worked out. We finally connected.
yeah, and thanks to Spaced Out Radio and my friend Dave Scott for sharing his contact information to make this all possible. And their show is on, and he's on right now with me. Like we kind of lock head to head against each other, West Coast to East Coast here. But he's on all week. I'm only on Friday, Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So he's lucky. Yeah, no. He's got a great show, actually. And I heard, I actually listened in when you were on the show. So that's, and Darren was the one who actually asked me to get you on. So I'm going to let Darren lead the discussion.
Want me to
I think
sweet.
Yeah, because it was your idea, so here
Okay.
you have the floor, sir.
All right. Hey, Tom, where did you grow up?
I grew up in northern Vancouver Island for most of my life, British Columbia's coastal region, and lived in the city, Vancouver, for a few years as well when I was younger. But most of my life has been in northern Vancouver Island and if I wasn't there, I was out to the rest of the coast of British Columbia being a commercial fisherman.
Did you always believe in Bigfoot from the time you were young? Like, did your father know about Bigfoot?
My father's Kwakwaka'wakw First Nation from northern Vancouver Island. They used to be called Quaggyudle or Quagyulf, but we refer to ourselves as Kwakwaka'wakw. So our whole culture is centered around our ceremonies known as potlatch. And you go to the potlatches, you see the different dances from the families, and you'd see the Junaqa, the wild woman of the woods, and you'd also see the male part of it during the potlatch ceremonies, and those, of course, are representations of Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And then you heard other stories about the spiritual creatures, everything from Quiquicwanala, Thunderbird, right down to Bukwus, which is supposed to be a bipedal, hair-covered, skeletal form-looking little creature that comes out onto the beaches at night to harvest its favorite food called cockles. So, being a cockles, it's a type of clam. It sort of looks like a cross between a clam and a scallop.
Well, how long did these dances go on for? Centuries?
Go back to the dawn of our creation, since the time we became humans, thousands of years.
Wow. So you grew up knowing that Bigfoot was real, or believing that he was, definitely, and everybody that is in your family believes?
Oh, yeah. My mother's a full-blooded Cree Indian from central Canada, from Saskatchewan, and they even have stories of it. So it's, it's just part of our culture. It's even used as our boogeyman, where they tell you when you're a kid, and I say it to my kids as well when they're younger, that you have to always be wary that the Junaqa is always watching you, the female Sasquatch. She's not allowed to touch you, but if you misbehave, act up, be a whiner, be lazy,
then
pull a
she
temper
will
tantrum,
eat you.
The Junaqa is going to come and reach your hairy arm and
eat you,
grab you and eat you.
Yeah, that's what they do.
What about the male Sasquatch? What do they do?
Oh, they will eat you if he don't like you. You're dinner too.
Yeah, that's why we can't find a Sasquatch, because they say she shoves you into a spruce root sack, like a potato sack made of spruce fibers from the roots, and she carries you deep up the mountain to her invisible home, and that's where she boils you up and eats you. So you got to behave yourself when you're a kid, when you're out in British Columbia.
Actually, I heard that they just eat people raw. They don't cook them. They're opportunists, and if they don't like you, they will beat you with a stick and kill you and eat you. And I also heard that the female ones, they like to eat kids because they're more tender. And if kids wander off in the woods and go missing, that's usually why. You'll never find the body. They get rid of everything.
What do you think of that, Tom? Is that true?
Everything out in the forest will eat you. It's get out there.
Yeah.
If you don't keep your whole attitude crispy and be wary out there, something's going to happen to you, and everything out there is going to poop you out the next day. Right from mice right to the Sasquatch, bears, wolves, everything will eat you out there. It's always been like that for thousands of years. Just that in these modern times, in the supposed civilized world, living all safe and hunkered down in the concrete cities with 24-hour lights and police to protect you. Everyone jokes about it, but when you come out to the bush world, and I see all these people going out there, and they got their bear spray and their bear jinglers and things like that, and they got this naive attitude where they look at me sometimes, and when I used to be doing tourism out in the Broughton Archipelago and off northeastern Vancouver Island, and they'd be like, "Oh, you carry a gun?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I carry a gun." I said, I might carry it 10,000 times and never need it, but that one time I do need it, I'm sure glad I had it.
Hey, I got a question. I got a question from the chat room. Ever been to Molly's Reach, Gibsons, BC?
Yes, I was there years ago where the Beachcombers were filmed. It's a tourist trap now, apparently, and it's just north of Vancouver on the Sunshine Coast.
What is it?
Okay, I just wonder what that's Moog Boy. I just wonder why he asked that.
Why do you think he asked that, Tom?
He's probably old, showing his age, because Beachcombers was taken off TV back in the 80s. But it was a show that was focused, it sort of opened the world's eyes to coastal British Columbia out of the Victoria, Vancouver region. You know, everyone that hasn't been here or they're going to come here, the first thing they say is, oh, we got to go to Victoria. Well, who wants to go to Victoria? It's, you know, its claim to fame is it's supposed to be the sister city of London. Who cares a bunch of colonial British stuff? You know, if you want to see British Columbia, you want to go out and get away from the cities. And Beachcombers was the first show that really showcased coastal British Columbia with the towering rainforest, covered mountains, and even had one episode with a Sasquatch in it where Jesse, who was a local native actor that was in the show, he was scaring people dressed up in a Sasquatch costume, and at the end of the show he jumps off a cliff, and you could see how he made his costume look bigger than what he actually was because he had 2 footballs underneath his hockey pad shoulders. But it's, you know, Beachcombers,
okay.
I was in Victoria once for a wedding, and one of the highlights of it was we walked into I think it was a Shoppers Drug Mart, and what do we see there? A transgender person with black greasy hair and a beard. That was a weird sight.
Well, British Columbia was one of the first places to legalize same-sex marriage. I remember back in the early 2000s when I was running my tourism company with a tour boat. I had a kayak camp that I still have that is reminiscent of our traditional big houses made of red cedar with native designs. And that year they legalized same-sex marriage, I was loaded with same-sex couples that just got married. You know, it's their thing, no biggie. As long as they don't hit on me, I don't care.
I'm curious if the Bigfoot comes in different colors or is it just brown?
Out here on the coast, I've just heard basically the same as a grizzly, lightish colors to chocolate-covered leg and arms and a brown body. So at coastal British Columbia, that's all I've heard. I know I've read some reports of whitish Sasquatches out here. I believe Osterman, I think his name was, the guy who apparently got taken, shoved in a sleeping bag and carried up the mountains out of Toba Inlet area. I think he mentioned that he saw a whitish colored one. It was one of the stories from that area anyway. But no, my
hold on a sec, Tom.
It's always dark brown or black.
Who got taken in a sleeping bag? I haven't heard this story.
You're going to have to do some studying there, pal. But anyway, his name was Osterman. He was a prospector back in the early 1900s, and he left Vancouver and went up Sunshine Coast, just past Gibson's, where the Beachcombers were filmed. And he went up to, I think it was Toba Inlet. And he was at a camp, and he went prospecting, came back, noticed some stuff was all out of order, dump pack sack and things like that, something that poked around his camp. He didn't think it was a bear, he thought possibly a porcupine. And then he noticed, strange things happening, feeling like he wasn't alone out there. And while he was just sleeping at night, something grabbed him when he was asleep in his sleeping bag, and he had his rifle in there. And all he recalls is just being squeezed into the sleeping bag and this thing running for quite a while. And when it put him down, he was in a overhang of rock, I guess he didn't describe it like a cave, but there was a family, a big male, a female, and I think it was 2 juveniles. And he was there for a few days until he, I think he made the big Sasquatch was interested in his snuff. Anyway, the thing gacked back his snuff, and of course, I guess it all started getting all coffee and everything, and then he tried to wash down the taste with a pot of coffee he had going, and that's when he made his big escape and got back to the coast. It's one of the most famous accounts of Sasquatch.
I do remember hearing about it on TV. I saw something. So he was basically kidnapped.
Yep.
By Sasquatch. And this is like in the 1800s, right?
At late 1800s, early 1900s, somewhere around there.
And then they went back up to look for him, and nobody else could find him. But he wrote about it and what he saw.
He made it to a logging camp when he escaped, and then it was in the 1960s or early 70s, just before his death, Robert Osterman, when he gave his report, and I believe it was sent out on the media. So he was one of the ones that sort of, along with Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, that opened the world's eyes to the possible existence of a hair-covered bipedal creature that we share Turtle Island, North America with.
Is there any chance that if Sasquatch was to, like, say, swim a lot near the shores, would they possibly gather barnacles?
Well, it's one of the survival foods, barnacles, but I've never heard any reports of them eating them. Besides that, you have to cook them in order to get at them.
Start building up in their fur? They just pick them off themselves,
So, Tom,
I don't know. I just threw the barnacles in because that's the key word for everyone to have to drink tonight.
Oh, barnacles?
Yep.
Barnacles is the drink word tonight.
I think so, yeah. From Matt Reynolds in the chat room. I think that's what he meant. I'll take it. I'll take the cue on that with the first beer here. All right. Here we go. Wolfman's going to get drunk. I'm going to get crazy.
Does a Sasquatch ever get confused with other animals, and what kind of animals, if it does?
Get confused in what regards? People seeing them and confusing the creature?
Yes.
What they actually saw? Oh, yeah. Look at the bears. Bear gets mange, and if it's a juvenile and it's standing up, it almost looks like a bipedal creature, or in fact, it's just a black bear or a grizzly bear. A lot of people make mistakes because most of the people that are going out there are a bunch of concreters anyway. They don't know bugger all about the bush. They go out there and they see something and, they jump to conclusions. And next thing you know, it's turning into orbs and mind speaking with them and all that woo stuff. That's just all fear factor.
Yeah.
So if I was going to go into the woods, I think I'd want to go with you. Have you ever run into anything that, besides Bigfoot, that you needed to use your gun on to protect yourself?
Good question.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Come on.
Hey, have you got a question from the chat room?
Yeah.
Is the chupacabra real?
No comment on a bunch of stuff I don't know about.
Okay. I just thought you may have known through native folklore that's passed down through like tongue. And that way, I know that the natives have a lot of history that they keep just by passing down by tongue. It's not ever written down.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember that in Turtle Island, how many hundreds of indigenous tribes people are there out there? You compare a Kwakwaka'wakw to a Haida from Queen Charlotte Islands, our culture and heritage is very similar. Our language is different, and it would be like comparing a Japanese person to a Taiwanese person. Close proximity to living with each other in the same region of the world. Two different cultures and languages. And so Turtle Island as a whole, where are you guys? Out there in Ontario?
Yeah, man.
What are the native tribes out there? Comparing me to them is like
Iroquois,
comparing you to a
Oneida.
Russian. Look like a human, are a human, but totally different cultures and heritages. And then your mythological beliefs are totally different as well. And, we do sit down around our fires and share our history and culture by passing it down orally. But I can't hear them when they're Ontario speaking.
Yeah, I get it. So, yeah, you have the knowledge for your particular area.
Yeah, and then under Kwakwaka'wakw law, I don't have the rights to talk about other families' legends either. So my family name is Siwadi, and we have a chief and we have what we call a gildas, a symbolic box of treasure that holds all of our family's crests that we've acquired through thousands of years of marriages. And those crests that we have songs that tell a story about that creature,
cool.
like Junahua, the wild woman of the woods. And what we depict in our potlatch is our family's property.
Okay,
And we have, our story, our dance, our song. And when I go to another family's potlatch, even though they might be 10 miles away from a different island, their dance and song is totally different. And I'm not allowed to talk about theirs because that's their property.
Cool.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, very fascinating. But we got Darren. Hang on. You must have noticed that I'm trying to butt in. It's the bottom of the hour. It's time for a break.
Hold on one sec. We got a music break coming up.
Well, yeah, and I liked that he was talking about music and dance, and I thought it was a perfect time for me to put a song on.
Can I ask one quick question?
All right.
So with all the different dances, is there any way that we're recording them, and do you ever share it with the outside world?
Absolutely. White man's magic. No offense to any of the Caucasians out there, but
that would be me.
The internet, YouTube. You just go in there and type Quaggyudle, Kwakwak, Coastal First Nations dancing, and you can watch for hours all the different dances that families have videotaped and shared.
I'm so glad that we're not losing the culture and the dances, and that's amazing. I didn't know that. All right. Go ahead, Wolfman. Sorry.
Alrighty. So we are going to move right into... I picked a really cool song for you, folks. This is a new one from Dean Brody. Time.
Gang of kids on our pedal bikes in a dusty town we'd arrive to the general store for Popeye cigarettes. Class of 99, yeah, we lived, laughed, loved, and cried. Took for granted that those days would never end. Living like that yearbook picture wouldn't fade. But some standing right beside me I might never see again. The trouble is, you think you have time. You think tomorrow's always coming down the line. Then one day, you wake up and you find the trouble is, you thought you had time. Suit and tie and a fancy job, big old house, 2-car garage. He works hard for his wife and his son. An empty seat at T-ball games is just a sacrifice he'll make. He'll make it up. Next weekend comes along. Years go by and that day comes too soon. That boy goes off to college. He's standing in his empty room. The trouble is, you think you have time. You think tomorrow's always coming down the line. And then one day, you wake up and you find the trouble is, you thought you had time. Shotgun shells and a tackle box on the floorboard of a truck. Morning sun, burning fog off a lake. A teenage girl with her granddad. He takes her fishing, but he feels bad. She can't take her eyes off that old Facebook page. But someday soon, who knows how long, she'll look up from that phone. He'll be gone. The trouble is, you think you have time. You think tomorrow's always coming down the line. And then one day, wake up and you find the trouble is you thought you had time. The trouble is you think you have time.
Wow, man, that guy can. That guy's from Toronto, man. He is good. That's Dean Bodie, Time, and we're coming shortly right back here with.
This is the Wolfman Mike coming at you from an alternate reality, and you're listening to KTLK Digital Broadcasting Network, the Fringe.fm. All right, let's rock and roll, baby. Groovy, fantastic.
Yeah, he said it. Yeah. Okay, Darren, do you want to continue where we left off, please, sir? Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. So, Tom, you grew up on Vancouver Island. Did you have, 12 years of school, and or did you just start fishing when you were younger, or how'd that